Hello, folks. Sorry, the Russian pronunciation is really funny, but I am enjoying making my first videos in English because before today I was recording videos in Russian and I was kind of learning the process and how to formulate my thoughts on camera, which is not very easy, by the way. But today I decided kind of to give you a snapshot of the meanings that I was making videos about in Russian. And at the same time, I'm gonna show you my gallery of my tablet, which is kind of an introduction. You know, that's really kind of the guts of the person. When you look like what he's storing, that picture is nice. I think I might look like this exactly, like metaphorically. So basically, what I wanted to stress during those interesting times that we are experiencing right now is that just recently we were equipped with this means of communication, of formulating our thoughts in multimedia format, with pictures, with videos, with illustrating kind of the concepts and ideas. And now we have to use it. You know, it's time to use those new tools to make masterpieces, as the ancients did with their tools, which they gradually developed, and then later on, after the tools were simple, easy enough to use, were kind of finished developing, then the creators started to develop, like Michelangelo, some kind of sculptures, statues, pieces of art, etc. So I think we are on the verge of the new era of this amazing production, and right now we have lots of people who are making reviews of the products which are good, which is nice to know. Technically we can, like, from our day-to-day life, we can find advice on anything in YouTube. That's a fantastic new opportunity. But still, people who produce something more of abstract, like the thought, the human thought, their kind of dreams in life, how they see this society, how they see this planet, how do they experience their living state here, which is very important. I think that it's not just us who would be judged. It's necessary to remember that we are all part of this universe, of this space, and we consist of the molecules of this universe. So basically we are part of the universe. And if you think it this way, first of all, we cannot be responsible for everything, because the universe herself is looking at us through other creatures, and she actively participates. So she shares the responsibility. And second of all, we have to judge. We have to give our emotional, logical, intellectual definitions, our kind of feedback, our kind of understanding of what's going on around. And I think only if we are truly fair and truly open and articulate in formulating kind of what we see around, how we look at the history of human beings, where it's going, and what we wish would be different here, then we have a chance to attract the attention of the universe, to start formulating how we see the future, how we see herself. And that's very important. That's the best gift we can give to the universe. It's like, prayer every second of your life. All your thoughts are the prayer. Because naively thinking that you repeat everything, just the same thing, day from day to day, and the universe would be happy with this, I think you consider the universe to be very stupid. And herself, in turn, considers those who repeat every day the same to be very stupid. Like, you are just producing the behavior of the robots. Maybe it would be useful, those organizations, those old religions, would be useful just to understand how mechanical life exists. For example, kind of non-biological life. That's their repetition. That's their kind of not thinking about it. That's their kind of looking at the tail of the civilization, not looking forward. They think that someone will come and just sort it out. But that's very naive. The whole universe is like every second watching your thoughts. It's not just all the dirt that you are thinking outside of your prayers is also accounted for. I will tell you, it's absolutely true. And this reshaping of the universe, it happens every moment, every second. It's like turning by frame by frame around kind of herself, around the events, etc. So it's very naive to think that you can just say like 20 times the same shit every day and then hope that only this would be considered. No. It's like all your thoughts are the continuous prayer from when you become conscious. That's for sure. And also, we cannot move far away if we do not agree on two axioms, even if not all of us agree with it or believe in it or they have some doubts. But for the sake of the humanity as a whole and of every individual, we need to fix that we are not alone in the universe. We'd better say this. That gives us the purpose, that corrects our path as a kind, as a species. If we want to have some chances to continue here, I think that's paramount to recognize this as early as possible. We're not alone in this world. And the second thing that we live not just one time. It's important to understand that the level of the species development, if you compare kind of to bees, ants, birds, dogs, we have much more advanced capabilities. Those are not always realized. Maybe the potential, but for me, it's for sure says that as the matter of our bodies consists of the molecules who traveled and who gradually enlarged during centuries, I think something like which makes our consciousness is also formed during several lives, at least numerous lives. And I know that many religions, they are quite fairly admit that this is the case. And instantly it brings just another focus on the individual life. And one purpose of life, which is universal for every being of our kind, is that the longevity of the human kind, of the human race as a whole, is enough to be every individual's purpose of life and satisfactory reason to appear on this planet. That's enough. If that whole humankind will prosper and will go further into space and will live, will have this, very chaste notion, not the eternal life for the humanity. It's enough for every individual to be happy with this purpose, believe me. That means that you are humanely treating your kind as a whole. And that's a very, and then you can live your life knowing that it's just one step. You can decide where you can go, up and down. I think it's possible to choose the direction. But basically, for those who don't remember, they haven't, and for real explorers, it doesn't matter where to go. I don't remember any either place, you know, and that gives also the hope that, and they say it because in Buddhism they say that, oh, karma is some bad thing, that you shouldn't work out karma. Well, I will say that you can enlarge karma. That's your building blocks. If you want to have, it's like the rope of Ariadne. It's the lady who gave some kind of piece of rope to Geracle, and he went to the labyrinth and was able to go back following this rope. And then, so that's. You can enlarge karma to have enough of this rope to conquer much more difficult environments. Didn't you think about this? Well, because that's why you cannot go this far if your basics are under doubt. You have to fix them. It's impossible to be in doubt like 100 times. No. They say usually there is a saying that you measure 7 times, but then you have to cut. you either assign it to the true or to the false. It's either 1 or 0. That's very kind of computer logic. Logical, by the way. So basically, those two axioms need to be defined on the planetary level. Like every person, everybody who is born on the planet, by the time he is 6 years old, should understand that the whole humanity matters a lot for him, and that's enough for him to do some benefit, not to harm at least humanity. And the second thing is that he lives here not the first time, and not the last, possibly. Depends how he will live this life and where he would climb, yeah? So that's very basic, because unless we agree on those fixed beliefs, it's like really impossible to go further. And the beliefs are much better than knowledge. You cannot just jump out of the knowledge. If you know something, it's very hard to understand that it can be different or to unknown it. But with the beliefs, I think the whole notion of the beliefs is not just to look at the history of the civilization and believe something there was kind of crazy, but look further ahead in the future of the civilization and try to understand like how we feel with our nerves this climate of the planet, not just physical, not just nature, also the society rules, fairness, kind of happiness of the population, how we can travel to every part of the world safely, how kind of the planet is developed, how we can use those resources to expand. Lots of questions, not just to see everyone in his cottage and just looking at the neighbors and how they are doing, bad or good. Well, we're just wasting our time as the species, as a kind, doing this. Either we agree that we are a kind, or we don't agree that we are a kind. And basically, I believe that the way out of it is just to proclaim that the human body can contain 2 sorts of consciousness. The one for which something new, something interesting, something discovering is a pleasure. The ones who like to think, the ones who exchange ideas, the ones who want to progress, the ones who see themselves as part of humanity, of human beings, and who are trying to even tame themselves, to behave humanely, and to think on a long range, in a being, kind of continuous form. Those are humans. And there is also the people. I was surprised sometimes because I am just saying logical things to other people and they refuse to understand. And it came to me that they must have different characteristics of their consciousness. Because consciousness is basically the word is like together with science it goes. So right now you can already scientifically explain that the people can be very different in their approach to life. Either they're animals or they're humans. Animals look down, at their feet. They can be. They are eager to be manipulated. They don't wish to have space life. Like they don't care about their own kind. They can kill. They can steal. They can lie to each other. Those are not people. Those are not humans. Those are animals. Those are people animals. And you have to say that there are people humans. Most of the writers, most of the artists, like the bright people who discover things, those are humans. And the proportion of this, like if you count famous people who lived a race with their kind of masterpieces, with their kind of pieces of literature, with their kind of works of art, works of intellectual brightness. Those are very limited. It's like really a few, maybe 100,000 from the billions, just less than 1%. And you can gradually teach like in between. And there are people who don't care really. They can make wars with each other. They can hurt their own species. They can just forget about everything. We cannot say that those are human beings. Maybe they are at least Homo sapiens. Yeah? One time sapiens and the other time Homo. All other times Homo. I'm not prepared to live on the same planet with this kind of people having the same rights and having the same say on the climate, on the social climate, on the physical climate of this planet. I don't want those kind of beasts to rule my world. That's obvious. And I think that human beings, those who cherish our space and time conquest, that we want to expand both in space and time, and we care about living in the galaxy at least, not just on the same planet that's obvious. Right now you have countries which are like cages in a zoo, and you are just experiencing different kind of pressure of the society on different groups of monkeys, and later on you are just go make everything you can with each other. Show them how they would treat you in the future. And you know what, that's kind of a shame. That's kind of scary. That's kind of we don't want this. And it's necessary to reduce the population of humans to real humans, who push, who don't lie to each other, who don't steal the resources from the planet, not giving it back, who know that at least this planet should be a starting point to get other planets into our orbit of existence. And that's so obvious that I don't know how to even to explain it, by the way. And well, we need to think about this. And I think the best bond, maybe we can establish a territory which is very good, like by the rules that captures people's dreams. It's like Bitcoin, but not in financial instrument, rather than a dream country, dream rules for the human planet. And then we can establish this in Greenland, for example. And I believe that we should paint such a lawful, fair society that other nations would want to join, would want to become the planetary beings. And at the same time, why don't we have the global parties, not just the states which are represented in the United Nations? That doesn't work anyway. But some kind of global force who would say that, you know what, we have to save this planet sane and for our future generations, for the humanity as a whole. We need to clean ourselves, we need to proclaim that we are not alone in this space. So we have to behave, we have to try to be strong, kind, and wise to meet other species. And it takes time to prepare the whole population for this idea. And at the same time, on a personal level, we don't live this life just once. That's in between the lives. And I think it affects our path. And it's not just a memory that we are losing. It's okay if we can keep the way of thinking, if we can keep the orientation to our values during our life, if we can keep straight our judgment on the principles that we double-checked, that we believe in, that we know that are right, that might save our kind of thin pass character. I would say it like this. And so basically the interested people, the best bond would be disabled drug users. But how normal people can join this group? But the best human attitudes between the group, I think, and the most faithful to each other group, believe me, it should be disabled drug users. You wouldn't find the more concerned and understanding and experienced people on the planet. And by the way, this group would grow very fast soon, and this is one of the recommendations. Like Machiavelli would give some recommendations back then, and he wasn't himself nobody, but he was kind of a writer, philosopher. So I will share my petty conclusions about this life which I led on this planet in different environments. And the first conclusion is that the most condensed group can be of people with physical disabilities and mental experiences. That's the first one. How can able people join there? Well, they might be unhappy with what they see around and understand, because we are not asked how we appear on this planet. It's a good thing if you are kind of abroad by loving parents who cherish your kind of personality and who give you love, who give you attention, who give you care, and that's fine. That's great. But if not, you are just randomly appearing on this planet with people who train you to behave that they are more or less content with you, and then the whole reality is forced into your eyes to understand this, because we are understanding this not very voluntarily. And the normal people, human beings, can be very unhappy what they see in life around themselves. How boring this life is, how the expectations are lowered just recently, and how we are kind of experiencing vacuum for the future of the humankind. No ideas at all. We don't see leaders who are great to follow. Oh, by the way, I enjoy Justin Trudeau. Nice family guy, at least he shows a good example of a civilized person living quite a normal Western life. He's good. I said earlier about some leaders are nice, but modern leaders are good that they are not in the news. That's their success. That they are doing because we have to have some global visionaries. We have to maybe wake them up maybe with our questions, with our kind of very sincere feedback to the whole kind of, not even kind of government's group of people, to the whole planet, to the whole galaxy. That if you have in this galaxy this mess happening, and the whole galaxy is kind of a bit dirty, you know? It's our turn to give them feedback, to tell them how we feel here. We have right now these instruments, electronic communication, we have these memories which are stored in our kind of reflection of how we see the world around, in our multimedia format, with pictures, sounds, like music, etc. It's very convenient. And so basically unhappy people who are and this drug using or kind of mental influence can be very much substituted with love to its kind, yeah, with appreciation of the planet, with a kind of hoping all the best would happen to the humanity in the future, with this goodwill of trusting that the human beings can be something more than just sophisticated animals wearing different clothes. You know, this is a striking thought, and those people should gather together, and where it's possible to have this civilized battle for power, yeah, establish small parties in France, in UK, in US, in Canada, in the West, which also will coincide with the flow of migrants who are voting with their lives, who are voting with their kind of transition to other countries, that they value those systems more, that they are truly conservatives. They have already chosen with their lives those countries where they moved. And basically this is the former British Empire, or kind of the West in general. Some Europe countries also participate. You know, it gives kind of some meaning to the life of the species as a whole and to individual lives. And in those countries, if this group of interested planet citizens will establish small filials, or how do we call it, small quarters, and it will cooperate with the local conservative parties, maybe they should push on those migrating people who have the power to contrast their own country with the one that they've chosen, you know. They can compare. They have the power to compare because they spent several years in different systems. And these parties in this Western society can push for at least 5-7% of the votes in parliaments, you know, and to cooperate, just to make every effort that they are heard and they would be represented in parliaments as a voice of the new migrants who are capable of comparing and who want to fight for those benefits which attracted them to move there. Very important. But on the global scale, if someone starts to behave like, for example, like a big dumb thing, like right now US is doing it, yeah, and basically facing US right now, you have to talk to the idiot, yeah, not idiot. Idiot in Greek is it's someone who is not participating in the social life of the community. He is like super non-idiot, non-idiot. And basically, if the country behaves this way, the small parties in all other Western countries, they make a synchronized push, and all those countries suddenly are annoying the big bro and saying, like, you know what? You are alone, and we have like lots of words for you. Not just words, but if we gather together, I don't know why Commonwealth is silent. Commonwealth countries should voice their concerns that one of their participating countries, they have chosen a very poor human being, poor in terms of the qualities, poor in terms of his nobility, kind of concerns, poor of his truthfulness. He's lying all the time. He's really a crook who made his fortunes on the tax avoidance, and basically there is a suspicion like Tesla, Elon Musk. There are rumors that he was sponsored by Russian mafia directly, and that's how he had those unlimited resources. Someone from this Eurasia pumped. It doesn't matter even this is government or not. They are all on the scale right now. The new money who hasn't got any kind of over centuries polished humane attitude towards resources, money, power, etc. They are the new ones, and they're just throwing the hammers over their heads. I think the old guys who have not just the money, but also some ethical concerns, who have the nobility of the old money, how they were used over the decades, centuries, etc. And basically those people who own land, I think it's necessary to think and to push those new nouveau riche guys to the very barren regions, so they can pump their efforts into the barren land and not to touch anyone, but just to build something for themselves, maybe on Mars. Let's keep them. If you want to go to Mars, go there and start the society there. Why should you spoil kind of this planet society first? Unbelievable. And I really hope that you still have the families, you still have the clans, you still have the noble people who through generations passed on their beliefs, values, knowledge, and this very slow growing of the humane qualities of these used to be monkeys. Like, I really hope those people can say their words. And this is the first project. Establish a small party in every country which accepts democracy, which is not killing for this, not banning it for good. And then fight for this say, at least. At least say the agenda, which we see the planet differently. It's time to stop this division into kind of the small national, like, country houses. We should find something else. Otherwise, it should be bloodbath and a championship for those who exterminate all others. Do we want it? Really? I don't think so. At least we have just to divide it into someone who wants to go to in the future, and those who are really okay being the animals who would be treated nicely, kindly, and they would be just enjoying their simple lives. Maybe that's but we have to separate those two, because for them it's very difficult. It's painful to think on a global scale. It's painful to choose something in life. They are really kind of betrayed in their opinions by their upbringings, by the parental control, by the societal control. Like, they're all kind of made their efforts, good boys and girls, to fit in the format. So what do you want from them? But someone is like really kind of enjoying the freedom. If you have the freedom, you have to use it. Otherwise, it's just not. It's really you don't need freedom if you don't use it. Obvious, simple as this. So basically, that's some kind of explanation of my views, and my story can be found on my blog site. And this is a gift. This is something that, with my experience, I could gather together those thoughts in my travelings. I traveled in over 21 countries. I made bold moves 6 times between the countries for more than half a year. And I have some experience on this planet. I was traveling 40 years out of 48 on one leg. I had a trauma in my childhood. So basically I have something to say. For me, myself personally, it would be at least my small drop for the human kind of memory bank. Yeah, that was my view. Maybe it was harsh, strange, etc. But I am really strange, étranger, because I was traveling. Those who travel become strange, and so I wish you good times. This is like something, if you enjoyed it, that's nice. This is something that we all can think together, and at least try to find each other on this planet to form a humane, kind, strong and smart and wise group of people who are concerned about cosmic life, about our galaxy life, not just of the planet goods. We have to find those, or at least make a try. All the best. Bye bye.